The fuck going on in this motherfucking bitch? They call me the Black Charlie Sheen, aka One Chains. I'm also known as fitness trainer Mr. Train Your Girl. She be doing squats all over my dick. In some circles, I'm just simply known as the Don. Today, we have the preparation for the week 3 of the PPL. You know what I'm saying? I give your girl my PPL, you know what I'm saying? We're going up against QtheCostaRican. What is his team name? His team name is something. We are the coach of niche Jynx. And you know what it is. Alright, I'll be honest with y'all. This matchup, at first it looked relatively easy, but then I realized that this might be the most confusing matchup so far for us. So, in my opinion, this matchup is harder than matchup in week 1 where we went up against Azumarill. Because look at his team. He has so many different options that could really confuse me in the preparation and leave me with a lot of mind games, on top of him having Grimmsnarl with screens, which means that he can probably just be able to tank all the hits from my demons, right? So the idea here is that he has Zoroark. Zoroark is going to be incredibly annoying to deal with because I will have to, as I said, engage in different types of mind games, you know what I'm saying? For us to be able to smoke ass, we have to meet a lot of conditions. Grimmsnarl setting up screens would allow his shit to live, the hits from Shiyu and Bundle. Also, on top of that, screens could help him to tank stuff from Terra Lokix, you know? He also has Bronzong, which is actually a pretty decent bring into me, even though I have Shiyu. But for the rest of the stuff, Bronzong is really good. Like, for example, Bronzong is an amazing switching into Dragalge. And he could easily... I want to bring Dragalge in this because there is a possibility of Toxic Spike. And then Dragalge helps beat Iron Moth pretty well, even though it can run Psychic. But still, it's not doing as much. So all in all, this is looking really bad for us because Lilligant is also very threatening. Lilligant is incredibly strong. If it sets up a victory dance, it's going to be boosting his defenses. So my way of like revenge killing is, you know, going into Lokix and just clicking first impression. If he's running protect on that, then we're kind of screwed by this Lilligant. Lilligant is a big ass threat. Lilligant abuses all my defensive options, as you can see. It just, you know, CC's Copper Edge. It just clicks fucking Leaf Blade against Sylveon, Leaf Blade's the Slowbro, and then Donphan gets Leaf Bladed as well. So it's really, my defensive shit is really bad into Lilligant. Then Cleavor could set up hazards for free. Cleavor actually does an insane amount of damage to Donphan. Bro, the Dawn, even max defense, it takes like 35% from a Sharpness X Scissor. So he can easily just alter between Stone Axe and Sharpness and wear down my Donphan and still have the Rocks up, you know, which would be devastating against my team. Also, if he brings Scarf Cleaver, that would be problematic too, into Shiyu and Bundle. So he has offensive checks for me, he has Zoroark Mind Games, and Moth is also very difficult to play against if it's going to be screens plus Moth, you know? Especially if it's booster speed. So, and then, you know, there's also factors like Meloetta, potentially Thundurus-t. Thundurus-t just abuses my walls too, pause. You know what I'm saying? And then he has the Fake Iron Bundle. Sandaconda could be a little bit annoying too because his Terras are like water, steel, I think, and ground, of course. And then Meloetta is fairy, electric, and psychic. So looking at it, it's not looking too great. Not gonna lie to y'all, it's not looking too great. It's looking like a very tough matchup. But this is what we have cooked up. Shoutouts to Ifo, Mav, and Joey for helping me build this team. Ifo and Mav have brainstormed a lot. Again, no testing has been done, no mocks. You know how it goes. We're going raw like I go in your bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes, bro. It's the same, bro. The rule is the same. No mocks. We just go in fucking raw. All right. That's the motto of the Dawn. Ifo built the skeleton of the team. Mav gave us a few cool ideas. And Joey helped with the final touches of this team. So what we're going to go with this time, Pablo is going to be Terra Dark Life Orb. Originally, me and Ifo were thinking that we can just run Bandit First Impression Terra Bug. Because Bandit First Impression Terra Bug just gets a kill immediately right off the bat from the jump. For example, if Grimmsnarl has to be Spadef. If Grimmsnarl is Spadef max HP for EVs in defense, then First Impression has an 88% chance to kill if it's Choice Banded, right? So we could technically stop the screens immediately if that is the lead. But the problem with Terra Bug Choice Band First Impression is that he could easily lead with Sash Cleaver, for instance. It could be also Protect Cleaver. It could be Protect, Will-O-Wisp, Zoroark, even with a Sash as well. You know, because Zoroark doesn't need any cover, like it doesn't need Hyper Voice. It can just run Protect, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast against my team, right? To hit the Shiyu. So realistically, there is way too many variables that could go wrong if I bring Terra Choice Banded low kicks, Terra Dark. Terra Bug. So we opted for running Terra Dark, and originally I was SD Shades, black glasses, you know what I'm saying? But the Pablo, you know what I'm saying? I had to go ahead and take the shades from the Pablo, you know what I'm saying? He got himself some nice Ray-Ban shades. I had to scoop that shit from the, you know what I'm saying, from Pablo. So he has a life orb now. He's a bit mad. He's gonna be taking damage every time he attacks. But what is important here, I think SD is not that great, even if we can predict like protects and shit, but there is realistically nothing we can SD up on. And the set would have been SD, U-turn or Leech Life, Suka Punch, and Brick Break. Brick Break is an absolute must in this game because screens are most likely coming. I would be surprised if opposition doesn't bring the screens, because that's one of the only ways to actually be able to take hits from Shiyu and bundle, right? So I probably would have had to drop First Impression if I was SD, which I don't want to happen. You know, because at the end of the day, First Impression is a very good safety measure if something gets out of hand and doesn't have Protect, for example. We have enough speed to outspeed Modest Meloetta. Modest Meloetta hits 279, so we outspeed that. There's going to be the Pablo for this week. There's going to be our, obviously, Terra Captain and all that shit. And yeah, as I said, originally it was SD Shades, but then Joey suggested Life Orb 4 attacks, which I think is amazing, because Terra Dark Suka Punch has a 50% chance to kill Iron Moth from full, if the screens are not up, of course. And then just Suka Punch with Terra Dark is basically like getting a First Impression off with Terra Bug. Almost, it's pretty similar in terms of damage. So we could always just have this option and to not let things get out of hand, right? We're gonna be pulling up with a Scarf Shiyu this time. Shiyu, Scarf Shiyu. There's enough to outspeed something. I don't remember what exactly it is, all right? But this is pretty much, this Scarf Shiyu set is going to be very important if there is Scarf Cleaver, for instance, you know? We also have a little bit of tech here later on that I will show, but it's just self-explanatory. Scarf is really good here. Overheat, Flamethrower. Psychic for coverage, because Psychic is better into like Iron Moth. Iron Moth has insane Spadef, so that would be nice to hit it with Psychic, you know. Then we got Octopussy. Dragalge is a very interesting bring. As you can see, I decided to not bring too many defensive Pokemon because they get very much abused. Dragalge is very important in absorbing the T-Spike. We also have, in my opinion, Lilligant is the most threatening Pokemon to go up against, especially if screens are up. So we need several measures for Lilligant. One of them being Dragalge. Dragalge with a Yesh. Dragalge with the Yesh guaranteed takes an Ice Spinner from Lilligant if it's at +1, and then can mark it with Sludge Bomb, for example. You know, we have T-Spikes to set up in case Moth is dead, or Moth, for whatever reason is Balloon or something. We also have Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail is a situation where I'm probably going to be clicking Dragon Tail against Moth, because this is also my answer to Moth to an extent, because we always live Psychic, and then if screens are up, then Draco Meteor doesn't kill. Draco Meteor doesn't even kill if screens are not up and there is no Rocks damage. So I either need Rocks, Chip, and no screens to kill with Draco, or I just go for Dragon Tail, and let's say Moth is booster energy speed, then we force it out, and then the booster energy is wasted, right? So that's the set. Octopussy making its debut in week 3. I think it's really good into his team overall. Only Bronzong can switch into it safely, and I think he's gonna respect that and bring the Bronzong. Then we got the Dawn. So we're running almost max defense. We have enough speed to outspeed Jolly Cleaver after 2 rapid spins. Because the idea is, as I already said, Stone Axe does about, I think it does from like 12 to 15%. X Scissor though does 35% max. So hopefully if Cleaver is out, then the interaction against Cleaver is that we switch into Stone Axe. We rapid spin turn 1 as he X Scissors. Then he potentially Stone Axes again as we Earthquake. And then after that, he X Scissors again as we rapid spin again, and then are faster and kill it with Earthquake. So we need to be able to take the sequence of 1 Stone Axe, 1 X Scissor, into Stone Axe, into X Scissor. Which, with lefties, we definitely can do. It's just gonna come down to rolls, basically, you know. Knockoff is just very good for the Bronzong, you know, for just everything, or hitting, for example, Zoroark on the switch. If he tries to spin block, you know, we have rocks on this because no other rocker. The Dawn is gonna come through. It's pretty much basically there to beat the Cleaver, because otherwise Cleaver is pretty scary. Then we got Diego, you know, we got both Pablo and Diego this time. You know what I'm saying? Diego making its debut. Thorn is a really good Pokemon in this matchup. I think Thorn is gonna go crazy. We have enough defense to live after rocks, to live a +1 Jolly Ice Spinner, +1 Jolly Life Orb Ice Spinner. I think +1 Jolly Life Orb. I'm pretty sure we have enough to live a +1 Adamant Ice Spinner without Life Orb, but also to live an Ice Spinner from Jolly Life Orb after rocks, I think, if I'm not wrong. I might be a little bit wrong, but basically Yesh is there to beat the Lilligant. So the sequence, let's say, is that, let's say we lead Pablo into Grimmsnarl. We first impression, turn 1, then we click Break, potentially depending on the Grimmsnarl set, we kill it, so he has no screens up. Then he goes into Lilligant trying to like Victory Dance, for example, as we hard switch into Diego. Diego takes a +1 Ice Spinner, kills with Bleakwind Storm, and then Diego is at like 20, maybe 30% health. And then on the next Pokemon, it sets up Tailwind. And then with Tailwind, Shiyu and Steel Packets just go crazy. You know, mostly Steel Packet, because Shiyu would outspeed most of the team with Scarf anyway. So we're running Specs Iron Bundle this time. Dark Pulse is a pretty good coverage move over Heat Wave, because it's more accurate, it can flinch. It's just, you know, it hits the Bronzong, like all that type of shit. So it's just good overall. Because Tailwind realistically should get us about 2 kills, at least 2 kills. So if the plan is executed properly, then we go up 6-4 early, and then we get Tailwind up and get 2 or 3 more kills, which leaves us pretty much at an advantage of the opposition only having 2 or 1 Pokemon alive, you know. Diego is going to be very important in this. U-turn is good in case Lilligant doesn't set up and just attacks us and then switches out next turn as we U-turn, for example, on the Bronzong or something, right? And then Steel Packet is Specs. We were deciding what item to use on bundle. We didn't want to go Scarf because we felt like it's a little bit redundant with Tailwind support. We decided to go with Specs because Specs pretty much gets a kill every time. Every time it comes in, it gets a kill if it lands its Hydros, right? There is no realistic switch-ins into Hydro Pump on the opposition's team, so Specs Iron Bundle is gonna eat ass and smoke ass and do every type of activity with ass, alright? So that's the team for this week. We're approaching this very offensively. This is incredibly offensive with only 1 defensive Pokemon to beat only 1 Pokemon on the enemy team. I think we should be fine, but it's, as I said, a really confusing and difficult matchup for us this time, alright? Thanks for coming through, everybody. I'll see y'all in the battle that goes up tomorrow. Da-don! Da-don! Da-don!